Hey, good evening, everybody, and how are we doing this fine day? So, want to stick with the rock and roll theme for the time being, and today I want to go over none other than Axl Rose. Now, I know some of you are probably sitting there going, "Well, what could you possibly talk about Axl Rose? This must be a rave." Axl Rose is one of the best musicians in history. He's been going strong for nearly 40 years. But if anybody's paid attention to Axl Rose in the last 10 years, I want to say, maybe more, he sounds like an individual trying their damnedest to imitate Axl Rose. Now, what do you mean by someone trying to imitate Axl Rose? Well, it's very simple, actually. If you listen, when he hits those high notes, his infamous high notes on Welcome to the Jungle, um, Rocket Queen, Paradise City, all the other hits I mean, granted, 99% of his songs, he hits those high notes. But the one thing that caught my attention was a couple of years ago when he was doing a version of November Rain for Lisa Marie Presley's funeral. I never really gave Guns N' Roses a chance ever since the Chinese Democracy. It was the end of it was the Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 for me, and after that, the Chinese Democracy, I stopped listening to Guns N' Roses. When they broke up, I definitely stopped listening to them. And now they got this new tour going on and a new album going on. Still haven't listened to any of their shit, but I heard that he was singing for Lisa Marie Presley's funeral, and I wanted to watch the video. I wanted to see how good of a job he did. When I heard him hit those notes, when I heard him singing, I was embarrassed. Not only as a fan, but I was embarrassed for Lisa's family. I was embarrassed for everybody who was listening to that video and who was there. Because Axl Rose, who apparently lost the ability to hit those high pitched notes, still feels he has the responsibility to get them. Now, there's one thing in life that we misunderstand, is that when we get older, we lose the ability to have such a wide array of vocal tone. You listen to many artists out there. Listen to Metallica, for example. When James Hetfield was young, 20s, he was hitting those notes. You try to listen to him do that today, it ain't going to happen. And he knows it's not going to happen. He doesn't attempt to make it. He'll attempt to get higher, but he doesn't attempt to hit those high pitched notes because he knows he can't. So, Axl Rose, you need to come to the understanding that while you're attempting to replicate your music from the 80s and 90s, you no longer have the ability to stretch your vocal cords like that. Look at Tom Kiefer of Cinderella. He was another one who hit the high notes like a son of a bitch. Is he doing that today? No. To the best of my, I've never listened to Cinderella or Tom Kiefer's music, Kiefer, however you pronounce his last name. I haven't listened to their music since probably the early 90s. So I really don't know what they sound like, but I feel very safe to say that Cinderella and or Tom Kiefer do not sound like they do in their prime. So why is it all these other artists out there have come to the understanding that they will never sound like they did in their prime? But here's Axl Rose, still thinking that he has what it takes to be the 1992, the 1989 version of himself. First of all, how long was he in retirement? It was from the Chinese Democracy, which was like the late 90s, like 97 or 98. And then they came out with another album, oh, 10 years later. And then it wasn't for like another 10 plus years. They did another album. So where was Axl Rose in that time frame? I mean, quite honestly, I don't know, but guarantee he wasn't out there stretching his vocal cords. So why is it now that since the band is back together, Duff and Izzy and Slash and Axl, and they're out there on a world tour, going through their old stuff, going through their new stuff, and Axl, God forbid if you'd actually get it through your thick, egotistical skull that you don't have it anymore. Please do us all a favor. Yes, the fans are enjoying it because they get to see Guns N' Roses. They get to see one of their favorite bands, if not their favorite band, live for the first time or for the first time in a long time. They're loving it. But if you were to ask them about their experience, I'll bet you they say the same exact thing that I'm saying right now. Axl Rose has got to learn to either A, get his vocal cords back to where they were, or B, come to an understanding that he will never get those vocal cords back to where they were, and work with a different tone that sounds good to the 2024 version of Guns N' Roses' Axl Rose. But whatever happens, please, let's not see this animosity of Axl Rose sounding like somebody trying to be Axl Rose. You guys leave your comments below. Are you a Guns N' Roses fan? Do you think that Axl Rose actually sounds good today? Do you agree with me that he needs to compensate with what he can do compared to what he could do? So feel free. Comments down below. Let me know what you think. Until then, I will see you guys on the flip side.